Happy Tip Tuesday, golfers. Today we're going to teach you about footwork. I got my trusty model Jake here to help us. It's going to be great. Okay, Jake, let's stand over the golf ball or just pretend to. First thing we notice, really obvious, we want the weight 50-50. We also want the weight kind of under the laces of your feet, not up on the toes or the balls of the foot, but certainly not in the heels either. We want it a little bit forward and middle of the foot. That's what we like. All right, now as we start to turn back, what happens? Well, as Jake moves into a backswing here, he'll feel that the weight traces back and moves a little bit into the inside of his heel. Jake, where do you feel that weight right now?
I feel a lot of pressure in the inside thigh.
Yeah.
I've built torque up into my leg.
Yeah.
And all my weight seems to be somewhat where it started under my laces, but maybe a little more in the heel.
Yeah, so as that butt cheek moves back, the weight might fishhook a little towards the heel. That's a feeling I sometimes get. The one thing you have to watch is, although we want 80% of the weight on the back foot at the top of the backswing, if that foot loses itself and collapses, our whole swing collapses. So you've got to keep the weight on the inside of the foot. Okay, now we wind up from the top. We unwind from the bottom, so it starts from the ground. The first move is to get the weight from the inside of this foot. Where to, Jake? How would you describe that?
I would say you want the weight to transfer across your feet, kind of onto your pinky toe or just inside it in your laces. So your weight or your pressure is transferring from inside this foot to the front of the other foot.
Yeah, so most of your pressure mats, your body track mats, what you will show the trace go straight across. That's maybe a little tip for advanced players. But we kind of teach that the weight should travel a little diagonally towards the baby toe. We want you to move onto that foot properly. Feel some pressure work onto that left foot. By the time you get to impact, we want those hips turned through. About 65 to 80% of your weight on the outside of your lead foot, depending on the club you're hitting. And then what happens, Jake? Through impact and into a finish, that left leg straightens, and where should the weight go? What do we do with the left foot from there?
Yeah, well, as I get past impact and I start to release my body and turn to a finish, a couple things are going to happen. First of all, my back foot's going to come up.
Yeah, naturally up on its point.
Exactly, as my weight and rotation goes past it. And all of my weight is going to settle into the outside, probably heel of my left foot.
Yeah, and it's okay. I think it's important to say, too, if it goes to the outside of the foot, if the foot even turns over a little bit, that's all right. We want to make sure we have a complete finish and we've really rotated and finished through the golf ball. So that's kind of what we want. Now, Jake, a couple of quick drills. The first one we call the soap sponge drill because many golfers have a hard time getting onto that lead foot to start their downswing. So hang on, let me show. We got the little soap sponge here. We pretend it's wet and full of suds. And we'll tell our players, put that underneath the outside of your lead foot, and your first move into your downswing is kind of try to create some sponge squish to get the soap suds coming out there. So it's a nice image for you to feel how you start by moving onto that front leg first. The other thing I'd like to recommend to all of you, and Jake, you do this all the time.
All the time.
Is what?
I take my shoes off and hit golf balls. By taking my shoes off and feeling my feet against the ground,
I like the Masters socks.
Thank you. Yeah, they're Jack Nicklaus,
Attaboy.
actually. I can feel where the pressure is in my feet very easily. I feel very in touch with the ground. It allows me to practice proper body motion and proper weight distribution so I can replicate that with my shoes on and my golf swing.
I actually really like that. You know, you don't always have to hit golf balls to practice. So notice Jake said I can feel where the weight is in my feet, and it gives him an idea where the pressure should be at different points. Great thing to do. You could hit balls in bare feet or in socks, but you could also just work on the motion even in your living room. That does it, right? I think that's pretty good. We want to start 50-50, travel into the inside of the back foot, move onto that lead leg, and then finish into that lead heel. If you pay attention to your footwork, you'll be a better player, right?
Absolutely. It helps you stay more balanced, more powerful. It's an awesome thing to practice in your golf swing.
There we go.